Hey, what's going on everyone? How you guys doing today? Welcome back to another Steve Rising video. And in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the new character, Helhest. We're going to be taking a look at her abilities, going over them, explaining them, as well as basically how to make the most out of them. We're also going to be taking a look at her weapons and the ones that I think that you should be running. And lastly, we're going to be talking about her artifacts, which is going to be a very interesting topic because she did release essentially with a new set of artifacts that are essentially custom made for her. But she has been a very divisive character so far in the couple hours she's been out. There's definitely a lot of unique things about this character, like for example, she could make heavy ammo. Just out of thin air, she can just make heavy ammo for you and your team, which is just not something that we had in the game before. So let's not waste any time, let's get into it, and first let's go over her actual abilities. Now, starting off with her passive, it is data conversion. When boosting drones or healing drones heal allies, they will also grant them assisted calculation. Now, what this whole assisted calculation buff is, I'm gonna keep it pretty simple because it goes on and on and on, but essentially it's a very simple buff. Whenever you damage targets, you inflict them with a debuff called data analysis, and whenever you kill those targets affected by data analysis, they drop a data fragment. Now those data fragments are essentially the resource that you're going to be using for Helhest's meter that's down there right above my health, and that's how we're going to be spawning the heavy ammo for ourselves as well as the team. And you're going to be able to get this whenever you get kills. So you see it down there. If you walk over it, you can pick it up, or if there's any drones out, the drones just automatically pick them up. So you never really have to worry about picking them up because to be honest, you're always going to have your drones out. So they're always just constantly going to be picking up those fragments. You never really are going to have to pick them up yourself. And remember, if your drones happen to heal or provide a damage boost to somebody in your team, they'll also have that buff. So if they kill some enemies, they'll also be dropping some fragments to help you get to that heavy ammo faster. We're just going to hit this so you can fill up our bar. And you can hold up to 48. And if you want to generate ammo, you just walk up to a drone and it just generates ammo like that. It puts it straight into your inventory and also in the inventory of any allies that are like within 70 meters. So it has a very long range and it goes straight into the inventory. They don't have to come over here to pick it up, they'll just have it. It does take 24 fragments to actually spawn some ammo. So whenever you have the full bar, you can actually spawn 2 bricks in and just get some ammo that way, which is pretty nice. And if you're full on ammo, whenever you do spawn a brick, it actually just drops on the ground. So you should be always grabbing those bricks and making the most out of those fragments, even if you have full ammo, because the brick is going to just drop on the ground and you'll be able to pick it up later. But that is her passive, and I feel like explained that way was a little bit easier to understand than just reading through this wall of text, and it's also just not as boring. Now her second signature ability is going to be rapid deployment. She deploys her drone 5 meters in front of her, and the drone will be staying at that location for the next 80 seconds. So these drones actually have a huge lifetime. They're going to be staying there for a long time. And the bad thing about that is that they don't really move. Like wherever you put the drone, that's where it's going to stay. It's not like the Stella summons that just kind of like move all around and do their own thing, keep attacking enemies. These ones essentially stay in one place, and if you move too far away from them, then they won't be doing anything. So with Helhest, you do gotta keep in mind where you're putting your drones and make sure that you're putting them in an area where they're constantly gonna be healing, as well as providing that damage boost. So you always kind of want to be a little bit close to your drones, or at least put them in an area where your teammates are gonna be pretty close to the drones. Now there's 2 types of drones. There's the boosting drone, which is gonna give you a damage boost to you and your allies, and then there's also a healing drone that's gonna heal you. They both have a radius of 10 meters, so you are going to have to be a little close to the drone. Now the drones do fire at enemies, but they fire pretty slowly. They only fire once every 4 seconds, but they do have a very big actual radius. They have a 70-meter radius, and their damage is pretty decent. And your drones will automatically be recalled if you get more than 50 meters away from them. And if they do get recalled this way, you're also going to get some energy towards rapid deployment. This essentially just kicks in, essentially when you're moving areas, like if you're doing a strike, you had your drones out for like an area, but you gotta keep moving. This is when this kicks in, giving you essentially just a bit more energy for the next area so you can set up your drones as soon as you get there. Overall, I think these drones are actually pretty useful. The healing, the constant damage buff is very nice. One thing about it that it does say on her ability, which is just completely false, is that you could only have one type of drone out. Which, as you can see, that's just a lie. We have a healing drone right there, and then we have a boosting drone right there. So you can actually have both of them out at the same time, and you can actually upgrade both of them to level 2. So do not follow what the signature ability actually tells you about only having one drone out at a time. You can actually have both of them. And then I'm not gonna lie, the drones just kind of standing still is probably the most annoying part of Helhest's kit, because they just kind of stand there. It means that you're very immobile. Like, you have to commit once you put your drones down to like basically stay in an area so you can fully take advantage of them. So that is the most annoying part of it. But they do last a very long time, and if you're in a smaller room like the raid boss, like boss fight, then the drones there can really shine and just constantly heal teammates as well as provide the damage boost. Now her second signature ability is the Salvo. She essentially fires an explosive that does some nice AoE damage. And if you have any drones out, it will actually empower them and allow them to use a couple of their abilities that they normally wouldn't use whenever you fire your Salvo as well. The Salvo also confines enemies, so that is pretty nice because confinement is pretty good. So that is another thing the Salvo does, which is pretty nice. And whenever you have your drones out and then fire your Salvo, the drones are also gonna fire, and the shielding drone actually does damage over time to whatever it hits. So it adds damage over time to this drone, and to the healing drone, it essentially gives it a healing missile that's gonna heal whoever has the least amount of health in the team. So because I'm the only one here, if I activate the Salvo, you're gonna see this missile come towards me. And this missile has a very long range, so you don't have to be like right on the drone to actually get hit by that missile. It has like a 70-meter like radius. So let's see if we can get pretty far away from the drone. We're pretty far away. So if you use the Salvo, you see that it's coming towards me. So that thing has a very, very long range, and that's gonna be saving your teammates that are like low on health. So even when they're not like close to the drones, you're still gonna be healing them. And her super is full firepower. She summons her super drone, and when her super drone is active, it will increase the damage bonus and the healing effects of the boosting and the healing drone by a whopping 300%. And the super drone is actually here for 16 seconds, so it actually lasts quite a long time. And the super drone is also just going to constantly be marking targets, shooting some rockets and doing some damage. And the super drone is also going to be healing the lowest health ally in its range, which is also pretty nice. So it's going to be doing missiles, it's going to be improving the other drones, and also healing. Now, when the super drone is summoned, it will immediately trigger like an auto fire attack from all the drones, and it will also reduce the firing interval from the drones. So they're also going to be firing faster and actually getting a lot more damage out there. Essentially, when this big super comes out, just everything is boosted. Your healing, your damage, the damage you do with the drones, it just kind of makes everything just happen a lot faster. And while you can't really see the super drone, it is the only drone that actually moves with you. So that is pretty nice about the super drone, that unlike the other ones, it's not just standing still. This one does travel around with you, and if you are the lowest health target, then it's constantly going to be healing you. So it also gives you a lot of survivability in like solo content. Now her weapon mastery is overclock shot. Whenever we activate our Salvo, it's going to give us overclock shot for 6 seconds. Now overclock shot, it is a crazy buff because it shortens the draw time with your bows, as well as the charge time on your linear fusion rifles by 50%. Meaning that your fusions are going to be shooting faster, your bows going to be shooting faster, and where you really see this is really on the linear fusion rifles. Just being able to get more shots out there is so much better. And then the combatant set will also be taking 15% more arc damage. Overclock shot is actually pretty amazing and kind of crazy. And that damage increase just keeps getting higher as you go through the levels. And when you get to level 4, it makes it even better, because whenever you have some Salvo stacks, it's gonna allow your linear fusion rifle shots to just reload entirely from reserves. So let me show you this right here. Let me get some Salvo stacks by using my Salvo. As you can see, we have 11 stacks right now. So we'll be able to fire this weapon a lot without having to reload it, which is crazy. Now, most of the time, you won't have that many stacks in actual gameplay because you're gonna be constantly using them if you aren't, shooting things at all. But even just with 3 stacks, just having 3 extra shots without having to reload is gonna be pretty nice. Now, her relic tricks, I actually feel like they're all pretty simple, but they're all actually pretty good. Now, the first one is short frequency activation. Whenever you deploy or upgrade a drone, the damage bonus or healing potency of the boosting or healing drone is increased by 200% for 4 seconds. So when the drone comes out and was just like recently been upgraded, it's just a little bit more effective. The one thing about this buff is that it won't be stacking with the super drone, so it won't just stack on top of each other and give you a crazy amount of damage or healing, but it's still gonna be pretty nice and super easy to activate. Now the second one is Breakneck Collaborator. Allies including Helhest herself gain 40% movement speed while within the range of the boosting or the healing drone, and this effect is gonna last 8 seconds after leaving the drone's range. Now you might be thinking, if she's very stationary and she always needs to be like close to her drones, why does she have this buff that gives her more movement speed? Well, I think what you're supposed to be doing with this buff is that you essentially just run to your new area. Wherever you're gonna run and set up the drones, it just lets you get there a little faster, so then you could set up. I think that's really the point of that, just to be able to like get to an area faster and just set up a little faster. But the way that this is probably gonna end up being used is just like an on-demand speed boost for like the whole team, especially because it lasts for so long, 8 seconds. It's gonna be pretty good. And the final relic trait is highlights. Releasing the super drone upgrades the boosting and healing drone present to mats, and it also refreshes their duration. Also, if any boosting drone or healing drone is deployed while the super drone is out, it will just immediately be upgraded to mats. So as long as the super drone is out, it essentially just upgrades all the other drones and they'll always be their mats level. So if we deploy a drone right now, it immediately just upgrades itself, which is pretty nice. And they do stay like their upgraded state after the super drone goes away. So it's not like they're gonna go back to level 1s, they're gonna stay level 2s. Now for the weapons, the Royal is amazing on her, especially with the Catalyst, because it has some really nice synergy with the reloading you're already doing thanks to her Salvo. But the God Roll end of the line is also very good because of just the amount of damage perks that you have on this thing. This thing has so much damage, and with the increased like charge rate, or decreased charge rate, I guess I should say, it's gonna make this thing shoot a lot faster. Now you're not gonna be able to like shoot as much as you are the Royal, especially with the Catalyst, but you definitely are gonna be able to get a lot of damage out there. I think the burst damage is a little higher on the Royal, and I think the total damage of the end of the line, even if you do it slower, I think it's gonna be higher. So if you're looking for burst damage, I would definitely recommend the Royal. But if you're looking for some more total damage and making the most out of every single shot, maybe the end of the line is what you want. Now, if you're looking for primaries, you do have the Trinity Ghoul, which I think is just okay. I didn't end up liking the Trinity Ghoul that much, to be completely honest. It was just okay. Or you could go with the Mythic Bow. The Mythic Bow does have some pretty good options. On the second slot, 100% you're looking for ensured yields. It's going to give you better damage pretty much every single time that you shoot the bow. And also the increased reload speed is really nice whenever you haven't killed something. It lets you get some shots out a little faster, and I think it works pretty well with the bow. For the first perk, I think either Archer's Temple or Annihilation is going to be pretty good. If you want the most damage per shot, Annihilation is going to be the one you want. But if you want the weapon to feel a little bit better, Archer's Temple is going to be pretty nice. That decrease to draw time is definitely very noticeable. And it only requiring a precision hit, it means that you're constantly going to be able to activate this. Now let's talk about the artifacts, and first we gotta talk about the actual like new set that was added, the Axion set, and just how crazy this set actually is. Now this set essentially was like specifically made for Helhest. She's the one that can really take advantage of this set, getting a ton of damage resistance, while at the same time healing a lot and having a crazy amount of weapon damage. Now, when I saw this and I saw 140% weapon damage, I couldn't believe it. But it turns out that it might be a mistranslation. And in practice, it's not really 140% weapon damage. It is actually a lot lower and a lot more in line with a lot of these other artifacts. Which, in that case, I think the calming token might actually end up being better, because that 46% to precision damage is going to be just insane. Now this last one, Confine Axion, is very similar to a Hawkeye token. Basically, whenever you confine enemies, depending on how far away you are, you're going to be doing more damage. And while the damage increase is actually higher than something like Hawkeye token, you do have to actually do a couple of extra things, like actually confine a target. And since some targets are not really confiable, I just think that the Hawkeye token might actually end up working a little bit better in this slot. And these first two, I feel like they actually work pretty good. They definitely add a lot more survivability to her, even though, to be completely honest, she already has a lot of survivability. Another classic combo of Ring of Abundance plus Ring of Conversion is also going to work pretty well on her, because she's also constantly be healing, and the overshields just essentially mean that she always is going to have overshields. As long as you're close to your drone, you're basically never going to die with these two right here. So this combo also works really good on her. And because of all the overshields, you'll also be able to use things like Inverted Fury very effectively for just that constant weapon damage. And another one that I've also been trying is the Standing Still Gaming artifact set. Whenever you're stationary, you have a ton of damage resistance with Unrelenting Ground. Fertile Ground essentially just gives you constant heal regen, again, when you're not moving. And then the last one, Illuminated Ground, means that every time you use your signature ability, you get a big damage increase as long as you remain, again, stationary. So since we're going to be always close to the drones, you can use your abilities, stand still, and then basically just be a tank. So there's another set of artifacts that you can also run on her and have a pretty good time, I think. She's definitely going to be a very interesting character. I think just making heavy on its own is such a strong ability that we're definitely going to see her because of that. And for being a quote-unquote support, she can actually output crazy amounts of damage. But her playstyle is definitely not going to be for everybody. You're going to have to be very good with her drone placement or just get some more of her talent tree. I feel like she's pretty decent at T0, pretty fun. But her upgrades are definitely crazy and give you a lot more freedom than you have here at T0 with the more stationary gameplay. But let me know what you guys think about her in the comments below. How many pulls did I actually take you together? And also, what have you been running on her? Are you running the Royal? Are you running the Trinity Ghoul? What artifacts have you been experimenting on her with? Just let me know all that in the comments below. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everyone. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.